Hey guys, welcome back to Build a Better Adventure. I have tried to make this video a bunch of times and I've run into countless little technical issues, and I need to thank you for all your patience in me getting this video out to you. It's been a long time coming. I don't want to get into that because that's not what this channel is about. Let's talk about Mythic Con West and the new logo. So right on my shirt and in the slide deck, as well as in the little corner on the bottom, you can see we have the new logo. It's the same logo that's on all of the published adventures that's out on DriveThruRPG. All right, so I'm going to walk you through all the events that happened at Mythicon. And the first thing I did was I ran a game on Friday, the very first time slot, which was Brian's mystery sci-fi game, and it was Black Star. I'm thinking about renaming the game to The More Things Change if it matures. But the campaign setting was Black Star, which is really kind of themed around Star Wars. I created a campaign setting for Black Star, which was more Expanse Firefly, less Star Wars with the Space Wizards. So the morning right before I drove out to Mythic Con West, I was up at 1 a.m. and between 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. I created a last minute PowerPoint rules. It's only got about 8 slides, but it does about 90% of the rules, as well as giving you a background on the environment. We had a full table of 6 players. I had immense feedback, and I'm thinking that based on that feedback, I'm going to make a minor change in the setting and run the game again at another convention and see if we should be building up this whole Black Star campaign setting. One final note, not only were all the players new to the game, I had never played the game either. And so I'm running it live for the first time. At the same time, I have brand new players. The only difference was that I had read the rules a lot to the point that we were creating these PowerPoint slides. And I can't tell you just how exciting a rules-light game could get. This was amazing, and I can't say thank you enough to everyone who was at my table. Later that same day, on Friday, and I don't have really good photos on this, this was me as I was prepping, we ran the Myth Forge game, The Risen Citadel. We had 8 players at this game. Everyone took home their 3D printed characters, so I actually 3D printed their miniatures, and they got to take them home with them. The game started 15 minutes late because I was still assembling some of the terrain, but we ran all the way until 1 a.m. Everyone seemed to have a blast. I wanted to share a little side note about the end of day 1 of Mythic Con West, and that's the terrain that I brought. And the bins stacked up on top of this caster, or this platform caster that I was moving around, was taller than I am. You're going to see a better photo of it later, but it's in the background of this image here. As I was toting it back to my room, there were points in the ceiling that came down, and the entire stack got stuck between the floor and the ceiling for a minute as I wheeled it back to my room. As I put all the terrain away, I realized that I could condense it by one bin, making this way more manageable. But I wanted to give a quick shout out to Home Depot. There's no sponsorship here, but their ability to allow me to create this stack of terrain on a caster system meant that I could wheel it all around so that I could more easily manage around the various tables. So thank you to Home Depot. Day 2 at Mythic Con West hit, and we start the day with Shadow the Demon Lord. The game, What About the Children? We got 3 new players into Shadow the Demon Lord. I was running ragged and late as I was getting to this particular game, but immense positive feedback. Having a murder mystery was a huge hit for these brand new players who were excited about absorbing this new system, but at the same time, kind of having a lot of role playing at the beginning so that it wasn't dense rules all at once. It played out incredibly well. So after Shadow of the Demon Lord, we had the GM Gauntlet. I helped coordinate the judging for my table. It was the first time I was playing Sci-Fi system, and the GM did a fantastic job with explaining it. This time around, instead of the fantasy GM Gauntlet from the first Mythicon, in Mythicon West, they had sci-fi adventuring with brand new things the GMs had to coordinate into their adventure. So I was really happy to see that when I published the GM Gauntlet, the Evil That Warlocks Do adventure that I ran, it didn't spoil anything for GMs coming to this particular gauntlet. By the way, just as a reminder, the GM Gauntlet is not just for the GMs. They are pulling in these really super talented game masters. Don't forget to sign up to play. The the adventure that you will be participating with is sure to be pretty exciting, and it'll give you a chance to jump into a new game system that maybe you don't know. So at the conclusion of Saturday, I had my first Shadow Dart game. It was with 4 of the players, and Nick here was the GM. He's in the photo with me. It was the first time I played Shadow Dart. Won't be the last by a long shot. I was invited into a one-shot with this brutal final enemy. I really like how Shadow Dart handles their spell system. I played a priest. The scenery was incredible with multiple areas of LED lit terrain. And I'm sorry, I just don't have pictures that I can put on here to go over what the terrain looked like. So, want to come game with me? There's 2 conventions that I'm going to. The first one being Con Carolinas in Charlotte, North Carolina from May 29 to 31 in 2026. I am hosting some games and I'm playing in some games. The games that I've hosted have not been approved. They're all pending right now. So I don't know how many of these 4 I'm going to get, but I signed up to do Shadow the Demon Lord, Mythforge, the Black Star Campaign Adventure, which is kind of what we talked about at the very beginning. I'm incorporating all the changes that were requested in Mythic Con West and seeing how good it comes together in the adventure. And then the last thing is running a new Dungeons & Dragons 5e adventure that is terrain heavy, and it talks about a bunch of players defending a particular town from an advancing horde. This will be the fulcrum of a new campaign that I'm building, and I'm putting the rules in Dungeons & Dragons 5e 2014, but I'm also taking a look at what it might take to just make it 2014, 2024 compatible. Because I don't have enough time to invest the time to do that before Con Carolinas, it's strictly going to be in 2014 for that. I will be playing some games as well, but they are not releasing their schedule of games that you can sign up for until mid-May, so I can't tell you anything more about that. The next game convention that I'm going to is CharCon, which is in Charleston, West Virginia. And games that I know I'm going to be hosting are Mythforge, and it will probably be the last time that the Risen Citadel will be exactly the same campaign that we've done each time for Mythforge. After CharCon, I'm going to be taking a look at presenting a flavor of Mythforge, which will actually potentially be my campaign setting for the Mythforge Kickstarter that will be at the end of the year. The other thing that we'll be doing is doing the same Dungeons & Dragons Defending the Town. And at this time, even though I've set it up for 2014, I am, again, looking to take to CharCon the variance between 2014 and 2024. So I'm really excited about the Aether Studios meetup. I'm meeting Will from Aether Studios at CharCon, and we're going to be taking a look at the terrain that I've printed out and how we can advance the scenario so that players can add and subtract new things to create new defenses in the town. All of these things that I want to do, I'm really appreciative because Aether Studios is helping me advance this encounter, and maybe together we'll start taking a look at an entire campaign that could be built around this fulcrum in the adventure. So thanks for watching. This is the stack O terrain that I was telling you about earlier. If you got this far, please leave a comment, leave a like, a follow, a subscription. Please make sure if you're on YouTube and you're subscribing that you're hitting the bell icon to let you know when the next video will arrive. And if you're on Rumble, please do whatever is required in order for me to send out notifications to you when we post new content on Rumble. Due to unforeseen factors, there are definitely hiccups in our scheduling of getting videos out to you, and I just want to make sure that you all get this content, and I really appreciate your support. So thank you so much, and thank you for watching. See you next time.